And it is game week for the Buckeyes. So that is where we'll start with Texas. We've talked all offseason about overarching themes, but here we go. We get to
overarching.
Uh-oh.
You stole it. I was about to say it first.
All right. Well, that was a pun unexpected. I apologize to Buckeye fans out there. We can start there. And, Austin, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Arch or Julian Sayin, both of these guys have not had true in-game reps. I know you've talked a lot this offseason about how people are kind of looking past the fact that Arch Manning has not played that many games and he's coming into the shoe.
Yeah, I think that there has been this general assumption nationally that he's going to go out and be a finished product, that he's going to be the #1 overall draft pick next year. And I'm not really sure what that's based on. Is he talented? Of course. Does he have a famous lineage and great genetics? Yeah, no doubt about that. Has he been in the Texas system for a couple years? Yeah. All those things are good for Texas. They're good for Arch Manning. But playing 2 games does not necessarily prepare you to go into the horseshoe for a season opener against one of the best, most talented defenses in the country and one of the most electrifying atmospheres that you're going to find. For whatever criticisms there might be about finding new ways to liven up the horseshoe and bring more juice and more excitement and rally towels and all these other things, 4 big games, you're still not going to find anywhere that's more intimidating than the horseshoe. For a 1-versus-2 game, it's going to be crazy to be in it, and for Arch Manning, that's all going to be very new. So that's going to be true for both guys. There are going to be new things that they're facing. I don't particularly expect either one to look like a finished product or a first-round draft pick on Saturday.
Okay, all right. Well, Dane, I'll go to you. Ohio State named Julian this past Monday, and they named him to get him those first-team reps, to get him ready for what's to come on Saturday. As a wide receiver, how important is that for an offense to gel? How important is it to have one guy in the huddle making that call and getting used to that, knowing what's to come against the #1 team?
I think it is important. I downplayed it at first. I was like, I trust the staff. Take your time, make your decision. And as I told you when we were off camera, I hold my takes very lightly.
It sounds like it. I mean, it took no swaying at all.
I can be convinced I was like, that's a really good point. And it does, because we assume from the outside that there is more of an understanding within the building of who's who. Like, we viewed it on the outside as, oh, they know who the starter is, but it's just not being leaked to us. But, I've been part of a quarterback transition before when I was at Ohio State, and we didn't really know. It was just we were told one time, like, here's who we're going with. We're going with Terrell this week, and let's do it. So I think there is a lot of value in that, of just setting the environment for your team ahead of time with, this is our guy, this is who we can expect to be back there, and get everybody focused on the game.
Real quick, following up on that with you, the leadership element, how important was that for you guys in that locker? Because we've heard that so often this offseason. With that quarterback change, did you see it in the locker room? Did you see Terrell kind of stepping up and you started to feel this is the guy? Because that seems to be what happened there with Julian and Lincoln.
It happens gradually.
Okay.
It can't happen just by naming him, especially in a battle is a little different than switching midseason. Midseason's really tough. In a battle, even you're not going to know in the first couple weeks. These guys haven't had enough time with actual games that matter, feeling the actual season. Camp is one thing. I think Ohio State's really lucky to be in a position, though, that they don't necessarily need their quarterback to be the vocal leader. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of guys. They have a lot of veterans coming back that have been in that role that they can lean on. So I don't think there's a huge press for him to be that guy yet, because he's young. Eventually, yes, you do have to be that leader.
Okay, so Nicole, I'm going to put the ball on the tee for you. If Julian does not have to be the vocal leader on offense, in your eyes, who can fill that role?
Brandon Inniss.
There we go. I didn't hit it out of the park.
Brandon Inniss. We have talked about him all offseason, all camp. And I agree with you, because I think everybody says, I know,
That's the
shocker.
First time. He's never heard that in his whole life.
I do agree with you, though, Dane, because everybody thinks QB1 has to be that guy. When you look at a guy like Will Howard last year, I mean, Arch Manning, they rally around him. Julian Sayin, he has leadership qualities. I don't think he's going to be the vocal leader. I think he leads in other ways. I think a guy like Brandon Inniss, the moment you see him out on the field, he's got the energy, the juice. When you ask any of his teammates, they're like, that dude, he's crazy, but they love it. He brings that hype around the locker room, and you need different kind of leaders to really rally an entire core of guys. So yes, different kind of leadership, but if there was one guy on that offense, it's Brandon Inniss for me. He has all the leadership qualities.
Okay. We're walking in on Texas now here, Austin. Their defense, they've got a lot of names. They've got a lot of guys that are on preseason watch lists. We know about them all. For you, I want you to pick one that you're going to be watching every play to see where he's out there.
I mean, you have to find where Colin Simmons is on every single snap. There's no, he's so far above everyone else athletically on that Texas defense that's the key. And so it's not even find him on every snap. It's like all the different ways that Texas could use him, the same way that Ohio State might use an Arvell Reese or a Sonny Styles or a C.J. Hicks, all the names that we've talked about, Matt Patricia using them. Texas can do the same thing with him. He goes back to, all right, is everyone ready on this front when we talk about the depth of Ohio State's offensive line? It's not, is Austin Serveld going to be ready to win matchups over here? Is he ready? Is Luke Montgomery ready? Is Carson Hinsman ready? Is Tigra Shabola or Philip Daniels or Ethan Onyano or whatever configuration we see on the first snap or as the game goes along? There's going to be different pressures coming from different levels and a lot of different things that Texas will do schematically. The benefit for Ohio State is that they have seen this before. It happened 8 months ago in the Cotton Bowl. They have prepared for it. They won't be surprised by it. There is an, I think, interesting dynamic in this game where both teams, this may be breaking news to some people around the country, have to replace double-digit starters.
No, just Ohio State.
But Ohio State...
That's what I've heard, just Ohio State.
But Ohio State also has to replace an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. And I actually think that might be somewhat to their advantage in this game, because they already have a pretty good idea what Arch Manning and what Steve Sarkisian are going to be doing, and also how that Texas defense will try to attack Ohio State. There's a little bit less certainty about what that might look like for Julian Sayin or Brian Hartline or certainly Matt Patricia on the other side.
All right, Dan, from the mind of a wide receiver, you're out there on the line. Carnell played against this team last year. Brandon Ennis played against this team. Jeremiah played against this team. How much does getting a second opportunity against that defense help you? Do you see it better than you? Because he's right, they're not changing coordinators, they're not changing their scheme. There's new players out there, but it's the same team. Does that actually benefit an offensive mind, or are we making too much of that?
It's really on the individual level. It would be hard to say that yes, they're gonna recognize everything. Too much is going on, and you got to talk about. This is at the college level. So many things can change. You're really focused on doing your job. You seeing tendencies that you knew from a year ago, maybe not so much. I do think as a team, though, you benefit hugely from how you executed in that game. I think regardless, everybody, and the narrative has been, as it should be, we're not defending champs. We're going out to win this one. But there's still something that it carries. There's something that will be in those locker rooms. Both will know what happened last time. So now that's nothing, and I don't think Ohio State's ever put themselves in a position that, hey, we're going to take this one lightly. But I think just how they executed in that game, regardless of it's the X's and O's or seeing something you recognize from last time, the confidence you take from that, I think they still ought to feel like going into this game, this is ours to lose, and they've got to come get it.
All right, Nicole, one big change is Brian Hartline calling the plays for this Buckeye team. We don't know how much Ryan Day will be involved. In your eyes, what does that look like for Hartline, and how, I don't know if worried is the right word, but growing pains out there for the first quarter and a half or so. How much is that going to be a focus in your eyes?
I'm not worried. I don't think worry is the right word. Growing pains is a great word to use because you cannot expect Brian Hartline to go into Week 1 game against the Texas Longhorns and have it down pat 100%. He has circled this game on the calendar. He knew he was going to face Texas ever since he got the gig. So that's not going to be a secret. And it's not like you're bringing in some guy who does not have the experience really in with the offense. He was in not only the offensive side of the thing, but he was within the program. So he knows these guys. He knows especially how his receivers operate. I'm not concerned with him not knowing how to do it. I think the thing is, how much control is he really going to be given that first game? Like, how much is Ryan really going to say, take it away, buddy, this is all you? And I think that's where the pressure, the stress can come in, because we're talking about it standing here. When you're down, I mean, first of all, we don't know yet if he's going to be down there or
he'll be down or up in the box. He was up in the box for the spring game,
right?
But he's been down on the field his whole career, so we don't know. And a big reason why is he's a guy that brings the energy. He likes to get in these guys' faces. He likes to talk to them. You'll see if you watch Brian Hartline on the sideline, the wide receiver that is not in the play is right next to him. And they're talking through everything. So he's very ingrained there. But yeah, he's
no, we don't know yet. And I'm not making that call. But like what you just said,
you can.
Why don't you?
Should I call him real quick and be like, hey, this is what I
Dane
think you
won't,
should do?
because Dane could flip flop the next week.
Now I might change my mind.
No, but I really do think it would be wrong of us to stand here and say he's going to have it all figured out week 1. There's going to be some growing pains. But I don't think we're going to notice them, if that makes sense.
No, I think these are all fair. It's worth noting how, and especially like where there's so many unknowns in college football. I'm going to highlight something great about college football, Adam, for you.
Wow.
We're talking about a 1-3 matchup. I know, it's rare for me.
1 versus 2.
We don't
Okay.
acknowledge the A people. That's just the clicks.
That's
Because
exactly.
we like it better when it's 1 versus 2. It looks
2.
cooler.
It looks
you know?
better.
It does look
Would have made
better. Yeah, it looks
history,
cool.
but, you
So
know.
see, I don't hold that. We're talking about a 1-2 matchup.
There it is. I love it. It was wiped it out of his mind.
1-2 matchup. How many unknowns have we talked about?
A million.
Like it is so unique to this sport to have these are two of the best teams in the country, as voted by everybody, but brand new quarterbacks. And not even talking like rookie quarterback. We're talking quarterbacks. I haven't even really seen you play before. It is like such an exciting environment. So even just way zoomed out, you have the quarterbacks, you have the offensive coordinator. We don't know if he's going to be on the field. We don't know. There's so much we don't know. And these two heavyweights, we're going to figure it out. We're doing it live. We're going to figure it out.
Doing it live.
Doing it live, baby.
Live. So, I mean, I think that's something that is so unique. The NFL can't capture that. A lot of other big sports can't capture that. That is a uniquely college football thing. So credit where credit is due. A lot of falters in college football.
I'm going to give each person a chance to speak here on this matter. We'll get out on this one. You just talked about the unknown. I'm going to give you future schedules forever. Austin, I'll start with you. Do you like scheduling this week 1? I mean, the excitement's amazing. The build-up is amazing. But I think you and I can both agree that who we see on the field in the shoe on August 30th is not who we'll see even, when they take the field in Washington. So do you like the idea of let's kick this thing off, much like they did with Notre Dame a few years ago?
No. I think the scheduling model is broken across college football. It doesn't make any sense for the Big Ten to have 18 teams and you only play 9 of them to crown a champion, especially as we move to the future of automatic qualifiers and whatever it's going to look like for expansion from 12 to 16 to Dane's preferred model of every team in college football getting a spot.
It's the worst model anyone's ever heard of.
Look,
You'll come around to it.
I am excited that Ohio State is starting the season against Texas, that it is 1 versus 2 in the coaches poll. I think that that's awesome. I think the Big Ten has to get to a point where it is playing at least 10 conference games, and maybe 12 would be my preference. If you're going towards this model and you're going to play more teams once you get to the postseason, then you might see the intersectional stuff that we love, a Texas or an SEC opponent, Alabama, Georgia being on the schedule in the next couple of years. But and it doesn't matter what I think, because we're all going to be excited to be there on Saturday.
It does matter what you think.
No, it doesn't. Because if you asked coaches,
It doesn't.
they would. What would Ryan Day say? What would he want?
Yeah.
He would want 2 opportunities to get his team ready for one that truly matters at this level. And preseason football is not going to exist in college football, nor do I think that it should, Dane. But if you're going to start having these games like that exist outside the realm of conference championships and AQ status, like they probably don't have any real value.
Dang.
I had to get to a point, Adam, where I'm like, if I'm going with what makes sense, there's too many things that would need to change.
Okay.
So I'm just going pure off the value of this and how uniquely college it is. I think in all of it, yes, you could. It's not hard to make a league. You just look at how the NFL did it and make it that. And if you want to make it fair and equal, that's how you do it. But so long as you're not doing that, you might as well keep the things that are so uniquely college that everybody loves. And those are why I want a million playoff games. Home atmosphere, games on campus are really fun. And the unknowns are really fun. And so having this big matchup week 1 where we really don't know, yeah, that's just, it's from as much of an unbiased, because, we're unbiased here, opinion as I can have, is like, yeah, that's a really fun and uniquely college thing. As much as they can protect the uniquely college quirks of the sport, I'm for.
Nicole?
I love it. I love it. And here's why. I love it because from our perspective, right, as you're saying, yeah, it's great for fans. It's great for the sport. It's great to have a number 1, number 2 matchup. From the team's perspective, Ryan Day has always talked about the need to grow up. That is making these guys grow up right now, not midway through the season, not 4 games down the line. You need to grow up before we even get to game 1. And I think for a team like this, where so many of the guys went to the league, new starters filling roles, new leaders coming in, they kind of needed that wake-up call to be like, oh, shoot, we're here. It's now. We're facing Texas first. We have no time to waste, no time to dilly-dally. It's game day. It's time. And I love it for these guys. I think it's exactly what they need.
Well, Austin, get your boat because you're on an island. Because I love it. I love it too. It is everything you want in college football. I will say it changed dramatically this year, and we're going to have more discussions, and we may touch on this in the next one. The dramatic change that a loss doesn't kill you in this game makes my opinion change on this game. Because at the end of the day, whether it be Texas, whether it be Ohio State, the team that walks off the field is still going to be a top 5 team in the country. When the playoff rankings come out, the committee's going to say, we love that they played. And at the end of the day, what happens in week 1 is not going to be held against you in week 12. And I love it. We get
You
to
guys,
see.
oh,
We
so
love it.
you all love exhibition games. That's great. That's
You know
very
what?
cool. I'm trying to
It's
add some
not an
value to the
exhibition.
schedule.
I hate.
You just told me that it
I
doesn't
hate-
matter if you lose.
I hate devaluing the regular season, but that is only if you're telling me that like a loss to Purdue ends your season. That's college football in my eyes. That's electric. But if you're going to play do you want to watch Ohio State play Akron for the next 6
Right.
weeks until we get to a good game?
I told you what I wanted.
That's what you just said.
I
You
said 12 Big Ten games is what I want
You
because
said,
you
give
don't
me
play the whole
Rutgers,
league.
give me Northwestern.
No.
Give me
Do you know what those games would
Minnesota.
have?
What?
Actual stakes for crowning
No,
your conference
boo.
champion. Actual
Booing.
stakes.
But
I didn't
what
think
is-
we'd get to
what-
boo.
All 3 of you said, oh, it doesn't kill you
Hold
if you lose.
on.
Okay, cool. Then what are we doing there?
But if
that's-
Ohio State
that's the
wins this
NFL.
game on Saturday,
Is not the whole model trying to get
That's
to
not
more
gonna be
professional? None
ignored.
of them are have one game kill you. So do you love college football or do you want the pro model? Because you're advocating for the pro model.
right?
No, he's
No, I'm
advocating
No, he's
college
advocating for
football.
You
college
said
football.
that there was so much wrong with the structure. Logically, you should not be crowning a conference champion when you only see half of the league. You still
That's
can't get there.
off-season
But that-
talk, Austin. Okay?
Sorry. Okay. I said I was excited to cover the game.
That's
What do you
mid-May
want?
talk, all right? It's
What do you
here.
want? You asked me how I would do the schedule.
And
I'm telling you what I would do with
your
it.
answer, so we're not going to hear it anymore.
Great.
No,
See you guys again for the next one.
that's
Maybe.
You actually can. If you just shift the camera and
Yeah,
zoom
we
in,
don't have to.
You could cut it off right
Yeah.
now.
amazing.
It's
He is
terrible.
Austin Ward. That's great. This is the 3 people that love the idea of opening against Texas. That guy with the arm, that is Austin Ward. You can hear him on the Austin and Berm show.
On an
Great
island.
every single day. Dane Sanzenbacher, former Buckeye receiver, and 97.1 The Fan, and Nicole Shearin on 10 TV. We will have you covered all week long with your Buckeye coverage here on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 97.1 The Fan.